Hello and welcome to another stream here at Crown Cup. I'm excited to be here as always. And I am Jaffa and I am a little cupcake. But if you do come across me in your ranked games, I will not be quite so kind. I will not be a cupcake to you, that's for sure. And we've got some teams coming up. But first, I got to introduce my co-caster for this wonderful stream, Zeus.
Hello, Yaffa. I am so excited. Hello to all of you watching. Now, according to all known laws of aviation, a bee should not be able to fly. Despite this, a bee still flies. That is the opening line to the Bee movie, a debatably awful movie. However, I think there's a message there. It's about, despite the odds, bees were still able to beat the entire honey industry in court. And despite the odds of being at the bottom of the rookie division currently, RuneFront, if they get an entire sweep, that is 3 matches won, 0 lost against MC Solstice here today, their opponents who are fourth, just about in the upper bracket, who are qualifying for the finals or for the playoffs, RuneFront could make it to playoffs. It's not likely, and according to all known laws of aviation, this shouldn't happen. However,
No,
it's
I really
still possible. And I believe, like the bees in the Bee movie, RuneFort will pull through.
I mean, it's kind of. I feel like it's one of those things. It's like, sure, it's theoretically possible for RuneFort to get in, and they will have to pull off quite the miracle of a fight to win that. I mean, they clearly have won matches in the past. Just look at that. You know, they've won 2 matches right there. It says in the standing. So I guess it's on the cards for them to make a comeback. But I just feel like this is sort of almost too much of an impossibility. But then again, if you are a fan of RuneForce and you're here supporting your mates who are playing in this tournament, then I guess you should be looking forward to the possibility, the hypothetical situation that RuneForce do manage to get into the playoffs. They do fly like that little bumblebee that is apparently impossible to fly. But on the other hand, MC Solace, who are their opponents for today's match, they, as you were saying, are already looking forward to potentially getting into the finals. And if they win this match, that is absolutely securing their spot in the grand finals for sure. But what do you kind of see that these teams are going to be pulling out in this matchup?
I mean, all I hear is that you need more convincing. You need some evidence. And I have some hard evidence here. What color are bees?
A yellow, black.
Black and yellow.
Uh
What
huh.
color is the theming of Crown Cup?
Oh, it is also black and yellow. I'm
My
still not
logic,
convinced though.
there
I'm
is
still
not
not
a single
convinced.
flaw in my logic. This this could only ever go one way. There is all right. Being more serious here, RuneFort have a tough fight against them here. They could theoretically get into the playoffs here, but it's quite unlikely. It's probably not going to happen. But if it does, it would be legendary. I mean, look, they have yellow and black skins here. Like, what
Oh,
else do I need to
you're
say?
really trying to pull out every single little, eke out all the. Oh, but it clearly could happen. Look, I'm just not buying this. I'm really not buying this. I mean, maybe this is something that I'm going to get proved wrong by RuneFort here. And to be fair, I do actually kind of like the lineup and the preferred heroes that they've put out here with the Junker Queen, the Ash, the Genji, the Anna, the Lucio. I mean, all of those characters are pretty strong right now. I mean, maybe not the Junker Queen, but I think it's a pretty good, lineup for favorite characters in the meta.
I mean, yeah, I agree. I'm really excited to see what happens today. I mean, this is the last week, the last live stream of the Crown Cup. All of our previous season 3 playoffs. Oh wait, no, Swiss stage. We are going into playoffs soon, I believe, and we'll try and cast a bunch of those if we can. Um, but I'm really excited to see what happens here, what occurs here, and if you want to catch up on what's been happening in this tournament so far, I believe all of our VODs have been posted to YouTube, which is the same name, Crown Cup Esports. So be sure to check that out if you're interested in this tournament any further, interested in what's developing, what's been happening, which teams are looking strong and good. I mean, Team Rocket's been on there like 3 times now.
Yeah. Well, actually, speaking of Team Rocket, I think we're going to take a quick look at the Challenger division, the higher division of the two that are currently ongoing within Crown Cup. I mean, Rockets, unfortunately, they're currently sitting there in 13th place, but YSC have been the team to beat so far. They haven't quite played all of their matches yet, but they have been. I mean, they've been absolutely destroyed. Look, 5-0, 5-0. That's a crazy, crazy kind of you know scoreline to have. Plenty of other teams as well here that are repeated uh, members of taking part in this series. Some of the OGs like Plate Group have been around for ages, so it's quite interesting to see. We do have the grand finals and the playoffs coming off soon. I do not believe they have been scheduled yet. So if you are interested in finding out when the finals, grand finals, are going to be scheduled for those teams, because that challenge division, they have some crazy players in that. So do go and follow the Twitter and follow the Twitch as well so that you are up to date and know when exactly we are going to be going live next with those kind of really amazing games.
Yeah, and I mean, I think we are heading into the first game in just a minute or two now. Oh, we see here Lijiang Tower has been picked as the map. I think this is the most picked map I see
Ye-
in Overwatch Esports as a whole, especially this tournament. And
Yeah,
you can't blame them for wanting to play it. It is such a fun map. It is so well designed and balanced, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's maps have been in the game for quite a long time, and I think because of that, a lot of people get quite familiar with it. They kind of feel a bit nostalgic about it, and it just also is a really good map with the current meta of the heroes that we've got around right now. We have the Symmetra, we have the Ramatras. I think this just plays really well with those kind of heroes. You've got some great high grounds, you got chokes. It's just a fun, well-designed map, and I mean, that's always going to be picked first over any other map, really. You're going to be practicing it, you're going to be playing it, you're going to be enjoying yourself, and that's really the key bit.
Mhm, absolutely. And I mean, I'm genuinely really excited to see what happens here today. I quite like the current meta. It's very brawl focused. It's got a lot of Ramatra. It's got a lot of hazard. I believe Ramatra's still. Um, um, have they patched the armor bug yet? Because I know that was in the game at least recently, and it means when Ramatra's blocking, he basically doesn't take damage, and it's really
Yeah,
really funny.
I believe that Ramatra still takes practically zero damage when he's got his arms up, in that
Oh
defensive
no!
formation. And because of that, he's just can be really, really powerful and really strong. He's just got a great kit for the job of being a tank. And that's quite a different kind of story than some of the other heroes like Sigma, which we have seen is MC Solace's favorite hero, unfortunately for the tank player. S-
Mm,
sorry, Sigma is just not a good tank right now. It's
no,
basically all around poke, and when you're the only tank, you're just not going to be able to do very much, unfortunately.
yeah.
It just kind of all comes down to brawl, and I say this every time. Comes down to brawl all the time with his meta.
I mean, yeah, the only real way you can viably run Sigma in this current meta, in my opinion, in organized play, is on Circuit Royale, where like, especially if you're on defense, having really long fights with someone like a Life Weaver, especially,
Mm,
you're able to stall the objective, stall the cart, stall the enemy team for so long that it doesn't matter that you're getting your ass beat every fight because it's taking them a minute to do so. It's just time you're holding, it's just time you're spending with them not making progress. That doesn't work on almost every other map because I don't want to sound too biased, but Circuit Royale's horribly designed and most of the other maps aren't. And so, like, you can actually have engagement options on other maps, where Circuit Royale, you just kind of walk, or you have to go down a really, really long other angle. And even then, Brawl's still good enough that it doesn't really matter. Like, you can run Sig Brawl, but at that point, run Ramatra, because
Exactly.
Ogma's awful.
Exactly. It's you're pretty much just forced to, pick that Ramatra in those kind of situations on Circuit Real. But we are not starting off with Circuit Real. We are
Ooh,
starting off with Li Jiang and a couple of hero bands coming out. Baptiste from MC Solace and the Symmetra from RuneFront, which is kind of interesting. I mean, I'm not too surprised. I did mention that Sim is actually quite strong on this map. Baptiste,
yeah.
you're going to be providing a lot of survivability with immortality fields. So I'm not too surprised by that, but I wonder how well this is going to play into their kind of strategy. Because I've seen some really, really nasty picks by some groups before. I think Plate Group really did a masterclass in how to pick and ban heroes. And if you do want to catch what they did, then you got to go back, check out their stream, which is currently on YouTube at Crown Cup Esports. So do go and check that one out because they did a masterclass in picking heroes there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it is interesting, these picks and bans. Baptiste especially. I don't think we've seen much of him in the current meta. He's not awful, but I feel like when you've got Kiriko's, you've got Briggs, you've got Anna's, like, there's just more utility there. Those are characters that can play into their opponents first. They don't have to sit and wait for them to do something and then make a decision on what they're doing, make a play. And I mean, that's really, really strong for reacting to your opponents, but it always puts you on a little bit of a back foot if you can't instantly get a flip as soon as your opponents do something. Now, we are about to go into the match here as we speak. The objective is just activating, and I mean, we're seeing these two teams push in. Interestingly, a near mirror from the comps, the only difference being the tanks with the Ramatra and the Orisa. I think Ram works slightly better here for the side of Rune4, but it's time will tell.
And time will tell indeed. These two teams, as the Tracer goes for a little duel here, they're not going to be able to get the kill, unfortunately, as the Tracer goes off. Still trying to have a little go, though. Maybe looking a little bit low as the tanks have a little bit duel on the site. Oh, RuneFront coming out on top there with that Tracer duel, but losing their support. The Kiriko, as you mentioned, a very powerful support.
Yeah,
How goes down, though, as the Ramatra chases down. Oh!
Able to get one kill. Yoshi getting another. The second kill from Dorklord die. And, ooh, Octo managing to get a kill onto Ooze. That was a quick flip. One of those died at the very start. Now Kurt getting killed by Scars. And the boom off the map is going to try and climb up, but is just going to ultimately be punished by Yoshi. Now, MC Solstice having an early hold here, but RuneFront did manage to get to 26% on the objective. And that's just enough distance that it can end up making a difference. That's like a fight total, which is really, really useful.
Yeah, I think here the Orisa pick has actually been doing them a bit of favors because they're such a good job at anchoring the site and allowing the rest of the team to go on. But there's another fight coming on already. Yoshi going dangerously low. Now with the ultimate in tow, RuneFront getting a couple of kicks right off the bat. Oh, beautiful fight there.
They're trying to retake the point. They have already. Now Orisa's just getting melted down and heavily staggered from the rest of their team. That's just going to give RuneFront just that little bit more time. They are at 37% and counting. Their opponent's only at 29%. So MC Solstice really on the back end here, really going to want to make a difference, make a change to how this is working.
Yeah, well, if there's any fans of RuneFront in chat, I'm sure they're going to be excited seeing this performance so far from RuneFront. Oh, and others coming out left and right as Yoshi is able to find a kill onto Polar. The B comes out as well, keeping them alive, and it's just RuneFront him getting their health bars melted away.
Damn. I mean, it really feels like one team will take the objective and then instantly lose the next fight, which is interesting for sure. MC Solstice did use 4 ults there, and RuneFront only used 3, I believe. I believe they had already used Pulse Bomb earlier. But this does mean they have beat into MC Solstice, which is honestly one of the best ults in the game. it gives you so much maneuverability, so many options with how to take the fight. Do you use beat to engage, or do you engage then beat once you're all low and basically get a second life? I mean, Dark Lord does get low already and does get killed. Now with the rotate onto point from Gunny here, just trying to test that backline, trying to force our opponents to peel, and is going to then rotate back to their team. That's just going to buy them a little bit more time, a little bit more space, but I don't think it's quite going to be enough. The beat does come out, and Ooze looking to get a pull swap onto their opponents. Will be able to get a kill onto Grims. Is just going to whiff the pull swap. Almost gets knocked off the map. Does reset. Does use that recoil. Now, Gunny does get killed by the Lucio, and MC Solstice still holding the objective, but have lost ultimately, as RuneFront managed to push up, managed to fly like the bumblebees they are, and they are finally making some progress.
Yeah, I suppose they do indeed have quite a bit of sting, especially in that last fight, doing a great job with the very little options available to them. I mean, the beat does provide some good utility, good survivability, but they did lose a couple of members early down, and yet somehow they still were able to come out on top, which I find a little bit surprising there. But already, getting a kick right off the bat here before the fight really even begun.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Arisol on the in the middle of those two teams is just going to break it up, but isn't going to find a kill. Ooze gets killed by Kiriko. Ooze, but did kill Sojourn. Now the Kiryu has come out, and Ramatra is just punching through their opponents, able to get one kill, I believe. Yoshi getting 2 kills though, as Ramatra is left standing alone on the objective. Is going to manage to kill Yoshi, but is going to be solo themselves, that they won't be able to do anything, with the point at 99 and 98, and the ultimate from Grimza just able to clutch up, but Lito will touch in overtime. Now that it's going to be a 3v1 for RuneFront. Flight of the Bumblebee is playing in my head as we speak, and that is a 1 round for RuneFront.
Oh, that's unbelievable. Oh, it came down to a devious duel right at the end, but just as we thought, the MC Solaris would be taking the first round of this map. Just in time, the Lucio comes in, Polar touches, he's able to extend the overtime. Some supports come in and backing up, and they get the kill, turning the point around at 100% capture. They get it. Overtime for both. RuneFront come out on top. I don't believe what I just saw.
I mean, that was brilliant. RuneFront looking to try make a comp change here with their DPS. The May and Cassidy, both interesting choices. Octo choosing to swap to Venture. These are good characters on this map. However, I'm worried that May and Cassidy fill a very similar role, and this really restricts the amount of versatility RuneFront will have in their composition, in how they play, in how they approach matches.
Yeah, I suppose so. There's quite a few different options available for them with this Cassidy. I mean, you could be using, perhaps a Sojourn in there instead, but the Cassidy, or sorry, even Tracer as well, since they fight at similar ranges. But I don't think it really matters. It seems like RuneFront did an excellent job making use of the Ramatra and the Lucio and the May as well, and picked off MC Solaris to win the first round so far, the first fight, and that's crucial in any kind of play. They're getting some capture progress already, as MC Solaris are trying to maybe go out and take the high ground here.
Yeah, absolutely. We're now going to see at the top here this fight commencing, and both Ramatras popping their Ravenous form, choosing to try and get a load of damage on their opponents, and that is going to be Octo dead in the backline, but Kurt did die first, and that's going to be a big advantage for the side of MC Solstice. But with RuneFront popping ult, they are not going to stand a chance. They just plowed through their team.
Wow, that was beautiful,
and they are soaring with them.
You sort of are loving your every single reference you could possibly get back to those bumblebees, and they certainly are flying well so far. They have done an excellent job using that May as well to really kind of close off the options that they have, and they've just been mincing into the backline. Ultimates coming out, but saved thankfully to the beat as they start to use their own ultimates now with only a few remaining, trying their best to maybe get them online.
Yeah, I mean, MC Solstice really using a lot of utility here, a lot of ults, and aren't going to find any value from it. That is going to be a clean fight for RuneFront. I don't believe they lost anyone. They might have lost Kurt. They might have lost 1 or 2 players, but this is a stronghold and display from RuneFront here.
Yeah,
Really,
they
really
have
showing what potential they hold.
another odd fight comes out though already. It's the zoning ult from May. He's able to try and capture some, but isn't able to get any. Do get a kill already. 2 members down for MC Celeste, and that's the Yoshi with their
Jenny.
ultimate as well goes down. This is final fight territory. There's only 1 member alive, the Lucio. They're getting hunted down like a ravenous swarm. And that is that for RuneFort as they get the second round here. First map goes to them. Lijiang Tower, RuneFort, amazing work.
Yeah, I
If
mean,
only there was like some B joke or reference that I could insert here.
yeah. I mean, that was honestly brilliant. That was incredible. They messed with RuneFront and they got stung because of it. This is going to be an interesting match. I'm really curious if MC Solstice can clutch this up here, because so far it's looking pretty heavily favored towards the side of RuneFront. But I mean, I've seen crazier things. I've been a fan of esports for a while now, and the things some teams do when they're in the clutches of defeat, when they look like they're on the edge, they're about to let go, and then they just push their opponent off the ledge somehow is insane. It's ridiculous. And I'm really excited to see if they can make a reverse sweep here, if they can help solidify and confirm their place in the um, playoffs here.
Mm, absolutely. I mean, MC Solstice, if they're not quite able to get this victory, it is going to be putting them maybe at a bit of disadvantage because their position in playoffs is not secured. It could be taken away from them if this does not go their way. RuneFort, though, doing an excellent job here. They've just been working so well as a team, bulldozing in, just stinging all the members of MC Solace. I
Yeah.
mean, just look at those stats. Amazing. 20
Mhm.
kills, 40 final blows.
Yeah.
But stats don't really always tell the whole story. You're really going to be looking at how things were going down in those team fights. And Room 4 were just, in my opinion, such a great team working together.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, yeah, RuneFort really, really displaying their potential as a team here, really showing how good they are. But I do feel it is important to note that they only have a chance of getting into the playoffs if they win this, because
Mm.
there's a one other match I believe left, and that team, the team in the lower bracket for that match, does need to win in order to get up and surpass RuneFort in the overall standings. That is GG Laref, but we now see that King's Row has been selected by Solstice here. Again, a really, really popular map, and I love King's Row. It's a staple of Overwatch. It's so fun. It's so brawly, which is really, really good in this meta. It really leans in to the approach a lot of teams and the competitive scene as a whole has taken currently.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just been such a great staple of the game. So many people love it. Some people would even say it's overrated and dislike the match. It's like,
That's just
you only
mercy
see like,
players.
yeah, salty players. Honestly, just it's the best map in the whole game, hands down. There's a reason people like to call it like Scrims Row, Kings Row. It's such a good map. It's very very fun to play, especially just
Mhm.
because it lends itself well to the sort of tanks that people enjoy playing, like Ramatra, and I think that just really helps with it. It's not just the nostalgia of it being one of the first maps that was released and added into the game. So I think those kind of all play into that. But what kind of heroes do you think we should be expecting from these two teams?
Well, I'm certainly expecting counterbands here. We saw Ramatra was working really, really well last game. Tracer was also doing quite well. And looking at the supports, I mean, like we had a lot of Lucio there, we had a lot of Kiri, and I mean, Lucio Kiri Bull is really good right now. But more importantly, it's so fun. Uh, and I'm expecting some form of counterband there. But if it's not banned, we're probably just going to see the same comps ran by these teams again. Because Room for, if it ain't broke, they're not going to fix it, especially when there's just been a map pick that's even more suited to what they want to play, to how they want to run this lobby, how they want to set the pace of the game. And Solstice have just kind of doubled down into this brawl meta that they just lost on. So I'm not sure if they're going to be able to pull this out without getting a really, really clever ban here on someone like Ramatra and then forcing potentially an Orisa or Hazard Mirror or matchup somehow. But with Ramatra's um, current bug with the armor and block, I think that a lot of teams are going to try to run him as much as they can because of how manipulable his health is, how well he can sustain fights and himself whilst dealing a lot of damage and creating a lot of space for his team.
Yeah, absolutely. I think those are some of like the key things with the tank as well is how well they can just kind of bunker down and take those hits. And it's kind of an interesting position as well because it's not really a typical strategic role is to be able to bunker down and take those hits. I mean, a lot of games just don't really have that. And it's kind of a weird sort of, I feel like it's like a weird kind of contrived role that we sort of give in terms of like strategy of trying to bunker down. But it's something that's just so powerful. And if you are able to do that, you can just shrug off a lot of the momentum and the tactics that another team can be trying to throw at you. So if you are able to just sit there with your arms crossed like you are Ramaktra and take those hits like they are nothing, then it just frees up your entire team to, go wild and to
Yeah.
pick off those teams and to destroy the other tank. Because if you're not going to rematch and you're not able to absorb that same damage of that same period of time, you're going to be a bit screwed.
Yeah, I mean, I like Ramatra. I like a lot of the characters in this game, and here it is, the ban on Ramatra from NC Solstice. I am not surprised here. RuneFront interestingly choosing to ban Brig. That's potentially to counter Anna compositions, which, to be fair, Anna's really good. Anna's probably the most versatile character in the game. She works in literally any composition, and Brig just plays to her strengths so well that if you ban her, you kind of just ban Anna. And if your opponents do still go hurt, you can heavily punish them for it. So I am a massive fan of those bans from each team. I think they've played that cleverly. I think they've played that well, even if the break ban is a little unorthodox from what we've seen from that last game.
Yeah, I think so. I think the break ban is a bit preemptive. It's kind of going, what kind of heroes might they go? What kind of compositions might they use? And I feel like RuneFront, given how they were playing that previous map of Lijiang Tower, I think RuneFront have been putting quite a bit of thought into their compositions. And I don't think that this break ban, although perhaps unconventional and maybe not the strongest, I think it's got a lot of potential to disrupt the kind of options available to countering the composition that RuneFront are going to go with. And I think that could be the key is preventing the counter to your composition.
Yes, absolutely. Now, Runeport choosing to play Orisa. That's interesting. That I think makes a lot of sense. When you're playing someone like Hazard, who's the other really, really viable
Hmm.
Brawl tank right now, I think that he just gets countered by Orisa a little too much, gets shut down a little too much. And Orisa is a very reliable character. Has a lot of armor. Is another armor focused um, tank, which is potentially why they've chosen to play her. Now, the Widowmaker going to be looking for an early snipe here out of spawn is not
Oh,
going to quite find it. Probably going to end up swapping in a minute as MC Solstice do not want to peek it. They are not trying to at all. Now, Ooze rotating around with their team onto the objective. And, I mean, RuneFront have already touched MC Solstice, giving away so much space here. That's strange to me. That's a questionable play. But they are able to push their opponents back, potentially waiting for them to overcommit just a little bit so then they can force them back. And that is going to be a kill
oh,
onto Useless Propaganda. Not to be confused with that null propaganda, even though they were running Ramatra earlier.
well, I think overall this has been pretty good so far for MC Solis. They were able to get an early pick onto the Widow. Sorry, a pick onto the Widow before the teamfight really managed to begin. They managed to make RuneFront use a lot of their utility as RuneFront now going into Hotel aggressively, finding the pick already, trying to isolate and remove the space available to MC Solis. But Yoshi is having another word about it as they come through, picking up 2 kills already. Use of propaganda. Shaw is able to pick up the kill onto the only DPS. I just don't think it's going to be enough here as they continue to slug it out. Oh, I mean, no, the river house! Orisa down! That's a death sentence for RuneFront, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. The choice to stay on Widowmaker here is really interesting. I know they've been able to get a kill here or there, but Widowmaker's such an inconsistent character that I don't think they work long term. I think on this map, you pick them instantly, you see if you can get an early kill, and then you swap. Now, they have swapped to Tracer immediately as I was saying that, and now pushing through Hotel, but the instant rotate from Yoshi using that Javelin spin just to get there a little bit quicker, protect their team. Really, really good tanking here, and MC Solstice really just cleaning up, really showing what they're made of, and winning the fight whilst maintaining the ult economy advantage is really, really something.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you just saw how quickly their Dark Lord got absolutely melted. Their health pool gone in seconds, and they kind of just got separated from the rest of the team. And without the real deep kind of support that you're able to provide, I think it's no surprise that unfortunately this was not too much in their favor. But they do have the ult economy in their favor, though.
Absolutely. We're now going to see Yoshi and Grimza being able to get a kill. That is RuneFront without support. They are just going to get rolled here. They cannot recover health as Grimza gets yet another kill. MC Solstice showing what they're made of. Instantly showing that they are able to shoot down bumblebees. Tiny little insects should not be hittable, but nevertheless they are.
Oh, your little analogy about bumblebees appears to be falling out of the sky. MC Solis have been doing a great job so far at defending this first point, but there's still maybe a couple of attacks remaining here for RuneFront to try and make a change as the ultimate comes out here. He's able to get 2 Genji kills already, 3 Genji kills with the blade. Now just looking at the Orisa as they get bullied, staggered even. Oh. Brutal decisions there, but great tactics nonetheless from MC Solis.
I mean, RuneFront must be feeling pretty down right now. They've got 30 seconds to hold, and that's not long. That's one fight which is going to be difficult for them to push up with. It's going to be difficult, especially with every time they make an engagement, they make a push. MC Solstice reacts so efficiently, and choosing to go through Hotel again is really interesting. I don't think it works, because they've done it so often, and every time it's not worked. Now, the 2 kills, 4 kills onto their opponents, 5 kills, that's a penta, and that is going to be untouchable for RuneFront. MC Solstice holding completely, not giving the opponents even a third of the objective.
Yeah, this is not looking so good for MC Solis, unfortunately. Sorry, RuneFront, unfortunately, with that last attack. But I think it's also very important that even though the best they can do right now is a draw, it's still on the tables, and you can't be letting yourself, lose the mental strength just from, this kind of massive setback that I think a lot of players are going to feel really bad about. It's like, oh man, we won the last round, we won the last map, and now we just got absolutely full held. Oh man, no way we're winning this. But you can't be thinking that. You can't be thinking that. You gotta be in it to win it.
Absolutely. It's reading the newspaper here, that's a choice, but it's difficult. The mental game, for sure, is the worst aspect of this. Now, RuneFront looking to play a BAP or Ana composition here. Now, the Widowmaker choice is interesting. They ran it on attack. It worked okay. They were able to get a couple picks, but not quite enough early enough in the fight to get a clear leader advantage. But, I mean, they are just strutting through here, showing their style.
I think this Widowmaker pick is actually pretty reasonable. Yeah, maybe it's not the strongest map for a Widowmaker, but I think that actually, as long as your Orisa is able to be the key anchor in the positioning, as long as your supports can help that and support that, you should be pretty good. And I think they are might be able to do that. But there's some TP though. There's a little bit of a different strategy than we were seeing
Yeah,
from RuneFront on the offensive. They're already now set up on the high ground. It's going to be a little bit difficult now for RuneFront to maintain this defensive position.
but the problem
But they are
is
taking the
if
time.
MC Solstice get any reasonable pressure towards them, it's difficult for them to rotate. But Delete Kiriko managing to kill Polo there, that's an early kill for Lucio. Now Yoshi managing to kill, oh my god, MC Solstice just massacring their opponents. That was a crazy spear onto Genji. As, I mean, they've done it. They've won. This
They have
is
indeed won,
incredible.
and I think there's they know full well that there's not going to be any recontest here from RuneFort. Dominant second map victory there by MC Celeste. I guess this is why they are currently fourth in the standings for the rookie division, while RuneFort unfortunately are at the bottom. But as you see, RuneFort have already managed to take a map away from MC Celeste, so you shouldn't be counting them out by any means, especially if you're chat. So don't be counting your eggs too early.
Yeah, that has to be rough for RuneFort. That was such an insane juxtaposition to that first game, where RuneFort
Mm.
pretty confidently beat MC Celeste. They had 100% on the second point. It was 99 and 99 on the first, but I want to know what happened. Did
I
RuneFort suddenly
think
get worse? Did MC Celeste get better?
I think there's a few like different things that you could really break down, and honestly, I think MC Solis were just so dominant in so many ways with how they were
Solstice.
playing. Their tank was able to keep space. They were able to anchor well around it. They were able to pick off players. They were able to get those key kills, and then as soon as like those kills came back, um, you know RuneFront just collapsed. They just weren't able to sustain that kind of pressure from that kind of range. They weren't able to break through the defensive line. And I think maybe the Ramatra ban has something to do with that because maybe you're just not entirely familiar with Orisa. Maybe you're just very confident in how to play with and around a Ramatra because their kind of kits are a little bit different. And Orisa is the kind of tank who has had all of her stat points dedicated to being an anchor, whereas Ramatra, their stat points are being distributed a little bit differently than Orisa. They sure may be very good at, you know, anchoring, but they're also really, really, really good at being brawly. They've got range, they've got shield, they've got all of these little things. They're more of a well-rounded evenly distributed kind of tank. That's kind of the stat distribution for Ramatra. And
Mhm.
I think that might have had a more significant part to play than we were really expecting.
Yeah. Now the map choice has been Rialto from Runefort here. That or Runefront. That is interesting. I like Rialto. I don't think we've seen much of it this tournament. Usually, when teams are doing poorly, they will default to Second Real because it's such a manipulable map. But I am glad to see a change here. And it's important to remember the teams can only ban one character, each character
That's right.
once in a match. So now that Ramatra is going to be open for Runefront here, I think MC Solstice might be struggling, might be a little bit more on the back end here, as we are soon to be into the next match.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's not quite over in the next match just yet because we still might have to think about the kind of heroes that might be a good ban to play. I'm sure that's what these teams are going to be thinking about right now. They probably should be looking at, some kind of, you know, strategy book that they have made to, go, oh well, this will be a good hero to ban on this map because or this hero would be a good ban because they've been doing quite well or we've been struggling against it. Um and I think that maybe they might be starting to look at maybe banning some of the DPS for Runefront because those DPS that Sojourn, was doing an excellent job at being able to pick off those heroes, and I think that might be helpful for them because it sort of forces because Soldier is one of the key heroes with how she kind of plays and the role that she plays. So it's going to be interesting to see in which other kind of options you might choose.
Yeah, absolutely. I am really curious to see what the teams do here, how they adapt, and how they ultimately pull through if they can. This has been a really interesting match, one team dominating, then another losing quite heavily. MC Solstice choosing to ban Diva, RuneFront choosing to ban Sojourn. The Sojourn ban makes a lot of sense, I think. It was
Yeah.
played by MC Solstice last game, and they were able to control so much space, get so many kills, and take so many wild swings that worked last game. Divas, interesting here. They certainly are good against Ramatra, but not as good as the mirror, in my opinion. Ramatra is able to punch through her DM and
Well,
has
it's
enough health that the shotguns don't really do much.
Well, no, I think it's a different reason why you're going to be banning the diva, right? Because the diva is going to be providing you, the tank, with a lot of mobility, and especially on a map like Rialto,
Yeah.
where on the first point you've got some high ground, you've got not just the first point even, but you've got high ground, you've got gaps, you've got spaces that you can close down quickly with diva, and you've got the defense matrix to protect your team. You do have a little bit of a different kind of thing where you can get up into the faces, you can micro missile, you can shot good, and you can delete players. And I think
Mhm.
maybe that might be what MC Celeste are actually a little bit feared about, especially if they're going to be choosing a Winston composition, because Diva into Winston, Diva's got a big advantage. And if they're concerned about the skill of RuneFront's tank, then I guess that's going to be a good choice for them.
Now, RuneFront choosing to play an interesting comp here. I think it's full of good characters. There's
Mm.
definitely a lot of synergy between Anna, Brig, and Ramatra. I really, really like the idea of that in Brawl. You don't have any speed option, which does make pacing the match difficult. But looking at their DPS, they have Ooze on Freya and then Gunny on Cassidy. Those are two characters which fill very similar roles, and that potentially leaves a weakness, leaves an opening when you're trying to stop your opponent dealing damage from a distance, or like dive your backline or something. Now, Rootford really, really falling back so far here. Able to get a
Oh,
kill onto Scars early. That was a bad Kiri TP.
it was unfortunately right into the way of danger, and it's going to allow them the opportunity to get that kill onto Yoshi, the tank there. And now MC Celeste are going to have to be backing up, surely now, after RuneFront now have the advantage. But I can see what they're planning with this composition from MC Celeste, and RuneFront seem to be doing a good job so far. But I hope that they might not be might not be forced and pressured to switch off this composition, and that might be putting them in the lead. Oh, as they close in onto
Woo!
Yoshi, misses this jump, getting absolutely annihilated. As yet another lost team fight there for MC Celeste as the timer starts to tick down. But they still have 3 minutes to make any adjustments that they might need.
Yeah, I don't think that uh, Monkey is the play here. He's not very good right now. I understand that he's good on this map specifically with all the verticality. However, he just kind of blows up. He doesn't have enough threat of damage.
Oh,
He doesn't have enough health or survivability to really live if you try to engage your opponent properly. And if you're not, you're engaging them like a brawl character. There's no point. Now, the dive onto that backline, but instantly gets slipped and doesn't quite block it. Octo trying to get a kill, but with 35 health, is almost going to fool themselves. Now, the Kiri and now the split push from MC Solstice here, but without one support, they're not going to be able to do much. Gunny managing to kill Yoshi, and Gunny dying to Scars themselves. Now, this is a 3v4, I believe. Room for on the back end as Kiri pushes up, kills Ooze. Dark Lord AI able to kill Octo. Now Scars killing Dark Lord themselves. That's rough for Room.
yeah, I mean, it does give MC Solar's plenty of room, though, as they start to get set up now, with RuneFort looking to try and maybe go for a recontest. They don't seem to be in any rush to do so, as they now head over to the bridge with the gap available to them.
And
I just think that it's all going to come down to the coordination of MC Celeste on coordinating these dives.
Oh no. The Nano Dramatra able to just decimate their opponents. That is going to be a strong retake for RuneFront, I believe, as they were able to get a 2 or 3k between the teams from that play. Now, Granville able to kill Kurt, but Dark Lord AI killing Octo themselves. Now, Lucio just coming out here, but is ultimately going to get deleted. Yeah, RuneFront have done it. RuneFront have reheld.
RuneFront have indeed. Yeah.
They've really chosen to play so far back, so defensively, even with a Brawl Cup. They're playing it like it's poke. And honestly, it works because you're able to manipulate how your opponents push so well. You're forcing them to make the first move, make the first step. And that just doesn't work on a map like this, where you can't let your opponents get behind you. And they're really not. They're really forcing them to have to go so far just to be able to fight. And if they don't take that fight, they just get shot at from the sky and die because of it. RuneFront able to hold yet another fight here and really displaying their prowess, really being dominant. But with 10 seconds left on the clock, I'm not even sure if anyone but this Tracer is going to be able to touch.
I think they do have a little bit of an opportunity with some members from behind getting into touch now. They use the beat to try and prolong the fight, keep them alive as the Deadeye comes out, forcing them off the point, all threatened with death.
Whoa,
Monkey goes down. Overtime is still active. Nano comes out as well.
They don't have to worry about touching. But with the Nano on Ramatra, they're going to be able to deal so much damage. Also, getting a kill onto Polar. That is going to leave Kurt alone. 2 solo support, and I don't think that you can heal that much as a Brig. But able to just touch the point, able to sustain, isn't going to be enough. But with the coming out, I think it might be. I think they might just have time for their team to reset. But with Monkey coming out onto this backline here, it is certainly not. Brig does counter Monkey, but Monkey go big. Now, we are seeing the ultimate hold, the last stand from RuneFront, but they are not quite going to be able to make it. Solstice making them look like the guy from the movie, the B movie that got cooked by a bee.
Right. Plenty of B-movie references. I'm sure there's going to be plenty more to come. So if you're enjoying that, stick around because I'm sure there's going to be more and more fights to come, including B-movie references.
And if you're not enjoying them, shut up. These two teams fighting in this room here, just trying to take control of the high ground, really. It's really important, especially for the side of RuneFront. They have a very pokey comp. Their DPS really able to apply so much pressure to their opponents that they need that to be able to work properly. But with Solstice here, just holding the objective, able to push it, and RuneFront not touching, it's going to give them so much distance. The Kiriko does come out. Tracer instantly uses recoil after it, but almost also getting really low immediately after. Now, I don't think RuneFront have held this here. I don't think RuneFront can. I think they've taken too much damage too early on in the fight. The beat does come out just to counter Ramatra, but Ramatra getting nano and beat doesn't last that long. They have managed to retake, but only just with the reset from the supports there. That was a heavy amount of ult economy used for the side of RuneFront here. Now, Ooze does have their ult, but I'm not sure how much value they're going to be able to put out.
RuneFront here, they seem to be losing just a little bit in kind of the pre-fight, the post-fight, and that seems to be really where their weakness is right now. But this setup as well, they have to be set up on this staircase, otherwise they're going to be giving away too much free space. Yoshi comes in though, and is going to be already starting the fight. Oh,
yeah. Bowler shot coming out isn't going to find a kill. Grimes a will on Ooze with the dynamite burn. Now Kurt not quite able to kill Yoshi, just getting rolled. Yoshi does get slapped, but it's just going to sag out it even more at the end of this fight, and Gunny falling as well. That is going to be Solstice capping the second objective here after capping the first in overtime with 1:40 left. This is really showing what Solstice are able to do once they get a little bit of distance, once they get a little bit of space, and once they get a breakaway opportunity, once they figure out how to fight against RuneFront, once they figure out what to do against their opponents, they are really able to dominate, really able to show their prowess. Now the Kitsune coming out, probably followed by a Bob, but I can't be certain yet, as Solstice have pushed all the way up. RuneFront really forced back to their spawn.
Yeah, but it's still not over yet. RuneFront still have resources available to them as MC Solstice are starting to bleed dry. I mean, RuneFront, though, unfortunately losing a couple of players, losing the Tracer in the duel, but the Orisa ult, though, is coming out as powerful as always, finds the kill onto the enemy tank, and you just need to be that tank alive. And without it, you're just not going to be keeping yourself around as they start to have a mad dash, try and keep the payload alive before they cap it, but they just are not able to. MC Solstice are able to go all the way, the full distance on round one there after a almost diabolical full hold there by RuneFront. I am shocked.
They really started to do a lot there. They really started to win confidently once they switched to that Orisa, which I think isn't necessarily the best fit for this map, but for this meta is, especially into a Ramatra. If you can't mirror it, you have to find a workaround, and Monkey is not that workaround right now. He doesn't have the damage, and he's too vulnerable to someone like Ramatra's punches, especially through his shield. But RuneFront choosing to go with the Monkey here. Interesting choice. I'm not sure if it's going to be able to do as much as they want it to do. We saw it didn't work for Solstice, and that's Monkey into an Orisa. That's rough. You can really get shut down so easily from that.
Absolutely. I mean, I really feel like MC Solstice, they were struggling with their composition at first. Their Winston was just not quite able to make the difference, and that kind of makes sense. Just Winston just isn't quite strong. I mean, they sort of shot themselves a little bit into the foot as well with that Diva pick. They couldn't go and switch over to the Diva, obviously. Though in a Winston Diva kind of matchup, I guess that doesn't quite work out. But RuneFront, though, here going with the Monkey as well, and while I'm confident in their skills, I'm not sure that Winston is going to be doing enough work here, as they need to coordinate well, and while they have had a lot of it, it's perhaps not the strongest tank.
Absolutely, but RuneFront able to take a lot of space here early on. MC Solstice clearly showing what the meta is on this map, mirroring what their opponents just did, where they conceded a lot of space just to hold at this corner, where the real chokehold is on this map, because so often teams will get rolled. Now Scar's getting a kill onto Dark Lord AI, but Gurney also getting killed from that. Now Solstice able to hold, really showing that this map is difficult to push on first point.
Yeah, no, it really can be very difficult to push, and that's kind of why, that Winston mobility can be so valuable, but I am concerned that RuneFront are going to stick with this composition the whole time without really considering that maybe a little bit of a mix-up, a change would be beneficial to them. I mean, they have been doing a great job so far in removing them from this first position, but that second one is just being very difficult. Oh! Beautiful kill on that Lucio.
Yeah, Genji trying to find some value, trying to find a kill, will find one, but won't find a second. Now Orisa pushing up here onto the objective. Oh, they were pushing through their backline, through the enemy team, and they were able to just about escape. Grims are getting a kill on Kurt with that dynamite. Now Tracer versus Ashe. Tracer usually wins this, but not against this Ashe, not this Tracer. Ashe has managed to retreat, and honestly, in my book, if you manage to win that, if you manage to live that, that's a win. That's a win, guys. Now the bonus coming out here alongside the Kiri. Oh, Blade getting 2 kills.
I mean, Octo has been doing an amazing job in the past with that. Oh, Ozzy getting the kill onto Octo. I mean, they did some nutty blades back then on King's Row, so I guess it's no surprise to be seeing more amazing blades here. We do see the switch, though, from RuneFront onto this Orisa. The B is still available to them, but they have a couple of ultimates that they're going to have to be, protecting against, which is, of course, the Orisa ultimate from Yoshi, who has done some crazy work in the past.
Yeah, Now Genji looking really low will be killed by that dynamite. Pushing up here, and Dark Lord AI does get killed. Grimza going on an absolute slaughter as their opponents just get rolled. Lucio trying to find a rotate round to the spawn, but they just dashed into the spawn point. That's a minute on the clock and very little distance made for the side of RuneFront. Now, this is extremely similar to what happened earlier, where MC
Hmm.
Solstice got held this long, but I'm not sure if RuneFront are going to be able to flip this. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to make it. The Gunny swapping two hands is interesting. It can work. You can get a kill from it, especially with his arrows being the size of logs now, but I'm not sure if it's going to work. I'm not sure if it's going to be able to do that much,
Oh,
especially when there's a 2K coming out from that. Oh, now the Genji just dashing through their opponents left and right. As 20 seconds on the clock, that is one fight for MC Solstice to hold.
I don't believe this. I mean, I can't believe that you're possibly forsaking and are no longer believing in your favorite little bumblebees. But RuneFront do have an insurmountable task ahead of them. I mean, it could be possible for them to win here as they are able to touch the point. Overtime is triggered now. Ultimate's coming online from both of these teams, being used. Octo able to find a
Ooh.
kill, a second kill, and that is all that's needed as RuneFront go down. MC Solace winning that map, their second map to their name already in this series. Beautiful work there. MC Solace doing great work on the defensive there, able to keep them away from capturing that first point, preventing a repeat of what RuneFront unfortunately experienced on the defense.
And here we're seeing the play. And honestly, brilliant play. If I recall, they got 2 or 3 kills here, and Kiri ran into that crosshair. But that was pretty compelling. That was pretty good. That was Solstice, the lawyers for the honey companies, just absolutely dunking on their opponents, calling a mistrial, and RuneFront really looking, I would say black and blue, but given that the bee's probably black and yellow, maybe a bit squished against the window, this is not looking great for RuneFront. They could have a chance to pull it back. This is 1 to 2 best of 5. RuneFront need to win the next 2 matches though, and that is not likely. We are going to be going on to push.
Oh, push maps. Man, these are like my least favorite maps in the entire game. I do not like push maps. I could easily write an entire essay on, why push maps are bad, the problems with them, why they're trash, why they should just be removed from the game. And yet somehow, even though I am dunking and hating on them this hard, it's somehow not even a hot take because apparently there are a lot of people who also hate push maps. I mean, if you're one of those people in chat right now who likes push maps, I'm gonna have to have a word with you, man. N- I-
I
You,
feel like
you
we're
clearly you clearly
alienating a
haven't
lot of
experienced
the.
push maps.
I feel like between this and the B movie quotes, we've alienated 90% of the audience. But it is going to be Runasapi, one of the most interesting maps in this game, in my opinion. I agree with you to an extent. There's too many paths, there's too many angles, there's too many options to push through, and it's so easy to get to anywhere. It just makes a map confusing to navigate. But once you do, it's fine. I agree with you that push maps do kind of suck. It somehow, even if you're winning, it feels like you're losing, and it's so demoralizing. But I'm sure these teams will be able to figure it out. They'll be able to push through. And I'm really curious to see what happens here.
Yeah, I think with push maps, it's all about the geometry of the maps, and they just kind of tend to suck. And I feel like that plays into the sort of hero picks that you're going to be seeing on these maps, because in a way, it's sort of like a big open space with some pillars, and it doesn't particularly make for a very interesting map when it's basically just a big open space with some pillars on the way, and it just kind of becomes a very like long range brawly. You're gonna need some
Yeah.
speed control as well. So I think it's gonna come down to things like the better Lucio. Um, but I'm surprised to see the bans that we did see here with the Orisa and the Tracer. I guess the Orisa is a bit of a targeted ban. That kind of makes sense. I feel like they have been struggling a little bit against that Orisa. It's been
Yes.
a little bit of a pain point for them in the past, which is how tanky it is. But that Tracer, what do you think of that Tracer ban?
It's a choice. It's potentially a good one. We have seen RuneFront run Tracer a bunch here, and they're pretty good, especially in this map. Um, I'm not confident it's the best choice though. I am not sure if it's worth banning someone like a Lucio or a Juno more, especially because you need speed to run it in this comp perfectly, in my opinion.
Yeah, I do think that speed is very important. I think speed is important in a lot of other ways as well, not just in kind of how things are going, but also with the results as these are coming in quickly just now. As Katamine are unfortunately going 0-3 to UW Kill Switch, and VA Callisto currently at 2-0 against Berlin Monkeys. Both of those teams are in Challenger Division, and we still have GG Laref who are still to play, and they will be starting their game in actually around about now, so it's
Yeah.
should be
Uh,
interesting nonetheless.
that's a bit disappointing. Catamine have lost. They are my favorite named esports teams I have ever seen. But you win some, you lose some. Hopefully, these bumblebees fly, sting, and bounce back. And they were able to swarm MC Solstice here, but I think RuneFront aren't looking too hot. The Lucio from both teams, but the Genji and um, Venture, I really like. That is a tough composition to face. I was instantly mistaken though. It is a Cassidy and Venture. Two characters with heavy CC are able to manipulate their opponent's movements so well that that's gonna be annoying to fight. It's gonna be honestly stinging.
Well, this venture sure has stung against Gunny there, but unfortunately
Ooh,
for MC Solis, Yoshi has gone down, and that's the tag. As soon as you lose your tag, you're going to be going down. Except in this case, where Octo has just popped
getting
up and got all the kills they could ever need, went into that team fight, and now they are in the lead with the bot now, pushing the block as far as they possibly can. RuneFort, though, they will need to fly like a butterfly, sting like a bee, as the famous boxer once said, if they want to come out of this series on top.
yeah, I mean Octo not quite getting an Octo kill there, but able to get four, and that
Oh,
is certainly plenty. That is certainly easily enough to win any fight. And I wouldn't be shocked if they start focusing that venture now, because if you don't, you just lose. But if you're not focusing the venture, Yoshi managing to kill Gunny and Elite Kiriko killing Dark Lord AI. Oh my gosh, this Lucio's on a roll as Octo gets a double kill there, and Solstice showing what they're made of, making light work of their opponents so far. I'm sorry, is that Reaper?
I think Reaper is a pretty reasonable choice, to be fair, but it all really comes down to how well it's going to be making a difference to the team. Reaper can be doing a lot of damage up close, up front, up personal, and it really depends, though, if you are able to get up close and personal, because this venture is having other ideas.
Yeah. Now the Cassidy coming out from Solstice here, just stalling more than anything. Often what Cassidy do. And I mean, we've seen it at Colosseum. Literally, when Cassidy's met up, teams will push up all the way, or push up to first point, and use the ult just to stall even more. Now, that is going to be room for getting some pushback, able to manipulate their opponents, able to get some damage and some kills. But MC Solstice is still very much winning so far, even if they lose this fight. But with them currently pushing the objective, and RuneFront not touching, which is a choice, it's not going to do much for him.
No, it's not, unfortunately, but we do have RuneFront here going in as the beat comes out to try and keep them alive as this Venture Ultimate comes out online, trying to find a kill.
No.
Gunny picked up the kill. Oh, so many ultimates online here with a big slurry of visuals going on. Ozzy, though, is able to pick up the kill, crucially, onto Yoshi. The rest of the team diving in. They used all of their ultimates, but they did come out on top, and that is important because they needed something to try and turn this around.
Now, RuneFront able to just touch, get to the center. Probably going to push their robot a little bit, but it's not going to be much, especially when MC Solstice in one push got so far. Now we're going to see the Ramatra mirroring that Ravenous form, but isn't going to be enough. Now Solstice pushing up quite far, able to get 3 kills total, and a 4th. That is going to be a quick cleanup. And honestly, Polo, for wearing the Snowfox skin, deserves to die.
Yeah, absolutely. No, actually, you know what? I disagree. I'm gonna disagree with you on that one. I quite like that skin there, so I'm not so confident. But MC Celeste though are doing a great job here. Oh, the tank going all the way down to solo Dark Lord having to back off there immediately. Reaper already using their get out of jail free card as ready as well. Yoshi here with their ultimate ready to go, but they don't need to press it. They already get 2 players down.
The only ults in the lobby currently are, there's a couple more now, but the ults going into that fight was just Gunnies and Yoshis, and the Ramatra ult is certainly better than a Reaper, especially against well-coordinated teams, especially against a team with, like, what, 3 characters that can CC you out of that, but they are going to pop it and are going to be able to get 2 kills onto that backline, onto those supports, but Yoshi also falling after getting 2 kills themselves, didn't decide to pop that ultimate. Could have. I don't think they would have won though.
No, I don't think. I think if they had popped that would have just been a waste. And I think it's wise of Yoshi to restrain themselves from pressing that Q. And that Reaper ultimate, getting those 2 kills, that's all they really needed. I mean, that is like really valuable for RuneFront. They managed to convert that ultimate into a fight win in effect, and that's great for them. But they do have some more ultimates online here.
Now the Lucio beat from RuneFront, able to push up so far, really putting all their eggs in one basket, and Grimza does die, not able to find a kill with that ult, as they finally win a fight where they are able to push their robot, push their pillar, I guess, and that was honestly a brilliant play. That was a brilliant fight for RuneFront, but having used 3 ults, that ties up the ult economy largely, and without the support ult, but Solstice having one almost, it's going to give them more of an advantage than I think their opponents would like them to have. Now, the Ravenous Vortex coming out here, but with the Cassidy as well, it might be able to get a kill, and with the Hammer Bug, it's just not going to damage through. That's ridiculous how much damage you can block with that form. Now, but a team kill for RuneFront, as they've been able to flip this quite confidently. I'm not sure how this is going to go. I was confident Solstice was going to win, but now I'm not so sure.
I think a lot of push maps really are going to depend heavily on the ult economy and how well you're able to convert that into fight wins, because with push, it's about consecutive team fight wins, unlike a lot of other maps like escorts. It all comes down to whether you can win the next fight afterwards, and so that's where this ult economy comes in quite powerfully. But RuneFront, unfortunately, already losing Gunny, unfortunately, goes down. The rest of the members looking low on health, as this Venture is looking greedy for kills. Finds another in Ozzy. Oh, but Ozzy has already found 2 kills of their own, chasing down now this tank.
Now, the Kyriot does come out, and they really push it up on their opponents. Able to get a kill onto Yoshi, and also getting one onto Kurt in the backline, but I don't think it's going to be enough. With a tank alive, you can do so much more than your opponents. Now, the Venture acting as a mini tank, able to deal so much damage, able to pump out so much defensive utility, but isn't going to quite be enough, as our opponents are one-shot, but it's not close.
No, it's not. They are putting their Reaper forward with their get out of free jail card. Unfortunately, isn't able to use it in time. Gets headshot instead because they were busy waiting for their supporters to come back and heal them. It's going to put them at 1-man disadvantage already coming into the next fight.
Now, the Ramatra trying to punch out that Lucio, and he's just going to run off, going to send him on a wild goose chase here. But the Kyriot Suzu is used, followed by a beat drop. Now, with Ooze using that Deadeye, able to get a kill onto Octo, and it was a clean one at that. Octo really committing there. A choice that I don't think they should have made. Now, pushing up against our opponents here, but the Ramatra does come out, blocked by a Suzu just a little bit, but it isn't going to be enough, as their opponents do get rolled, and Yoshi does die in the end, I believe. Now, Gunny and Polo trying to push out onto their opponents, but Ramatra is only one, as RuneFront almost win the fight, but with Benji on the objective, they're just gonna stall. MC Solstice knowing that their win condition isn't necessarily beating their opponents, just holding them.
Yeah, absolutely. And they still have perhaps one or two team fights remaining to go, given how slow bot progress has been so far for RuneForts. They've just not quite had the strength after these fights to really continue with much. I think that's a great kind of commentary on MC Solos and how well they've been doing here. But RuneFort so far, with the advantage in these ultimates so far, up to 60, 70% now for some of these. And it might be just enough, but this Deadeye comes out, isn't able to
Oof.
find anyone, unfortunately.
No, I mean, the Reaper Fade there absolutely forcing them to choose it in the end. Just a little bit of a bait. Now popping Shadow Form yet again, and is not going to quite escape, is just going to stagger in the end. Solstice finally retaking the objective and really pushing up, using that potential they have here. Now, I'm not sure if their opponents are going to be able to do much here. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to recover properly, but the Kyrio does end up coming out, and that's going to be quite a lot of damage, that's going to be quite a lot of potential value. But Octo finally getting killed, just a thorn in their opponent's side, as RuneFort swarm their opponents and kill Yoshi like bees to a larger insect.
Oh, what an amazing reference there to bees. I mean, I think RuneFort, they are going to have to be breaking all the known laws of aviation to get this through. They could maybe do it. It is on the table for them, but they are going to have to win 2 more fights, I think, if they are going to have to come through this. And it is overtime, and they know, MC Solos know this. They are biding their time, trying to build up these ultimates. And, oh, ultimate coming already.
Now the beat drop coming out, there's just ults being bumped left, right, and center. Flames of Bumblebee is playing in my head as we speak, but the ult from Ooze isn't quite going to get a kill as Octo kills them in return. Gunny getting the kill onto the backline, Grims are getting the kill onto Gunny. It's just back and forth, back and forth. These Bumblebees are stinging each other and it hurts. But RuneFront able to hold, able to push up, and in overtime, MC Solstice just needs to win 1 fight, and they have the ult economy advantage. They have 2, their opponents only have 1. But with the ult here from Cassidy, just trying to hold their opponents off the objective, they're going to do a lot with it, and they're going to be able to get 3, 4 kills from it.
This was so beautiful, so close for RuneFront, as they were so close to taking victory there. But MC Celeste, they bided their time, they took that slowly, and they have stomped out this hive of bees, unfortunately for RuneFront, not being able to take the win of that map. Oh, RuneFront, they get so close, although maybe if I see more close matches, maybe I might be converted. But I still think that push maps are the worst.
Yeah, I kind of get it. They're okay. But I like the maps. I don't like the mode. That's all I'll say about it. But I mean,
That's
that
fair.
was a set.
That's fair.
RuneFort, unfortunately, abiding to the laws of aviation and being unable to fly into the playoffs, as MC Solstice have just confirmed their place in the upper part of the rookie division here, and that is the last week of preliminaries. That's the last week of the Swiss stage, as we are headed into playoffs quite soon. I believe next week or the week after.
Yeah, I believe so. The grand finals and finals are yet to be scheduled, and I really encourage you guys to make sure to follow Twitter, to follow us on Twitch, to join our Discord, so that you know when we're going to be going live and when those games are going to be played, because you should not be missing out on any of those playoffs, because the games so far have been absolutely incredible. That last round was impeccable as well. So close between those 2 teams in that last map. And I was genuinely on the edge of my seat. And
Mhm.
even though I didn't believe in it, I have room for it. I mean, I guess they might have won me over with the end there. So But now we gotta be voting for the MVP of this match, and I think there's quite a few different choices to be choosing for. But I gotta go with Octo.
Yeah, I have to agree. They were doing the most there, in especially in that last game, able to force their opponents into so many awkward situations, awkward positions, and really, really making them struggle. Now, if you missed part of this stream, if you want to see it elsewhere, all of the VODs are posted onto the YouTube channel, which is, I believe, Crown Cup Esports, same name, I'm almost certain. And honestly, you might want to check it out. I've watched some of the VODs from that, and they are honestly beautiful. There's some brilliant matches there. But I've been Vanya, this has been Yaffa, and I think we're the real winners. We're the ones wearing the crowns.
That is so true. We are indeed the ones wearing the crowns. But you know who else is wearing the crowns? Is you, the viewers. That's right. Thank you so much for coming along and joining us on this amazing journey. Has so far been the Crown Cup. We are so close to crowning champions in both the divisions for the champion and the rookie division. So stick around for next week when we will be sure crowning those champions. Unfortunately, we don't have any updates on the standings from the other divisions and games that have been going on. GG Laref have just begun their game, and so we'll be waiting on their results for the final standings to be settled. But I think that's all from me for now. But I do have to give a quick thanks and shout out to not only my co-caster here, Zeus, who's been doing an incredible job with the casting, but also to Anarchy, who's been organizing the whole thing for Crown Cup. And you better be joining for the next season as well if you are not. Got to give a shout out as well to
Yeah.
our producer and our sorry, I know observers as well, Ebroth, uh, Mac, uh, and
Uh,
also that's it. Yes. I'm so sorry. I do know who you are. You guys have been amazing to help produce this stream as well. But I better shut up and leave the rest for my co-caster because otherwise we might be here for a few more hours. Perhaps I mean if believe be leave me, we'll be here for a long time.
and we are going to leave you alone with these awful puns as we head off for the night.